We have a sad story today. A man in Minneapolis was shot and killed by a Border Patrol agent. Supposedly the individual was getting in the way of an arrest, but the whole story around it is really sketchy. First of all, the government should not be killing civilians, period. If it's not a life or death situation, no one should be getting killed. And second of all, they're now lying and saying he pulled a gun out, which video evidence shows that's not the case. I don't like it when the government starts telling blatant lies about stories to try to shift blame or to try to get out of it, get out of consequences. That just makes the whole thing look bad. And this is the second death in 2 weeks. I'm already seeing conservatives online say, well, why do you have a gun? As if that's not the argument they would usually hear from the other side of the political spectrum if they had a gun on them. Like, so now we can just shoot people for partaking in their Second Amendment rights. No one should be getting killed by the government. No one should be getting executed. That should be a universal opinion. I don't really see room for other takes here. People should have a trial. Evidence should be weighed. No one should be getting shot by people whose job exists because of their own tax dollars. We already have people saying, well, where in the Constitution does it say you can impede in the arrest or defy a police officer? But while it's not in the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence makes it very clear. The civilians not only are allowed to fight against the government, but it's almost their obligation to if they're stepping out of line. Now, obviously that means people shouldn't be running around based off their own opinions and hurting government employees, but that's not even what happened here. This individual did not pull out their gun. This was never a life or death situation. This was a 7 versus 1 with someone who just happened to be armed, and he did not use it. He was not holding his gun. You don't execute your opponents, especially not if you're the government. There's no left or right civil war. There's just Americans. This isn't a battle. There's just Americans. There's the government and there's Americans, and an American was killed by the government today. And this is not something conservatives should be cheering on. This is a slippery slope. This is so cartoonish that I almost think it's like a conspiracy theory where they're like, hey, let's get the right wing to not want us to do mass deportations because it's going so wrong. Let's make them worried about losing their rights. Let's have it be their idea to shut this down. That's how cartoony this is. Like I don't really believe that, but I almost want to believe this is some convoluted way to end the pressure about mass deportations and have the base move on. Because it doesn't even seem like they want to do this, and they're doing a very bad job at it. It's just weird to see the conservative base already flip on this. You know, these are the same people who felt like they were being, rightfully so, felt like they were being hated by the Biden administration, what could have been the Kamala administration. With their own words, they're almost acting like they didn't represent a whole significant portion of the population, almost like they were their enemies. Kamala said similar as such and with her own words. It's pretty weird to see these people just be okay with the Trump administration now doing the exact same thing. They're restricting the rights of people and attacking American citizens. That's really the big takeaway here. It doesn't really matter what political side they're on. It doesn't matter if they're being unruly, you know. Once again, that's what the courts are for. They shouldn't be executing people. This is just all in all a feel-bad story. I barely know what to say about it. I'm upset about what happened. I'm upset that people are being shot and killed by the government. I'm upset that the conservative base is cheering it on. And I'm upset that the Republicans are fighting Democrats, independents, non-voters, disenfranchised Republicans, libertarians. They are kind of just going after everyone online today. Like if you don't share their exact opinion, and if you're not tweeting out like Tim Pool, we won, and you're like cheering this on, you're somehow some sort of traitor, even though quite literally it's those people that are acting as traitors. They are okay with the government executing people. Somehow they don't see how this is a bigger attack on the Second Amendment than anything. If they're cheering on killing someone because they're armed, shooting someone because they're armed, what does that mean for anyone? What if someone gets a little heated because they got pulled over and the cop's giving them a hard time? The cop can just look and see they have a gun on them that they haven't touched and just shoot them, just get panicked that a gun exists and shoot them. Like, if we can't just start shooting people because they're armed. I thought we were all on the same page here. I thought we all understood that you should be able to take up an issue with the government. You should be able to defend yourself or others. You should be able to rebel. And yeah, those things likely will have consequences, especially with the law. You can't just fight with the police and expect nothing to happen. But no one should be getting executed. The main thing I'm gathering from this is it seemed like these agents just have absolutely no control of their own fear response, their own emotions, seem very trigger happy, aggressive. We have that one guy who just took a picture of someone else taking a picture. They like scanned them with their phone, and he was like, have fun being a domestic terrorist. These people are just like laughing over turning concerned citizens into domestic terrorists. Is this not what we were just complaining about? Is this not what Tulsi Gabbard was added to like the no-flight list and was like made a domestic terrorist just for like being against the Democratic Party? We're literally watching this just happen again, only 1 year into a new administration. We have 3 more years. What happens year 2? What happens year 3? This is not setting a good precedent for the attitude of this administration. It really does seem like they are willing to consider anyone that disagrees in any way, shape, or form the enemy, because that person who got like scanned by the app or whatever that was, probably some like Palantir technology or something, they're just considering these American people enemies. They did nothing wrong. They filmed something. I would hope someone would film me if something like this was happening to me. I just want to know the facts. I just want to see the evidence. You know, maybe it will even prove me wrong. Maybe it'll prove them wrong. I just think it's good for these incidents to be filmed. And so the fact that they're deciding Americans are the enemy for filming is just ridiculous. If you're upset by filming, especially as a government employee funded by our tax dollars, you have something to hide. That's the only reason you have an issue with this. I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better, especially if people keep cheering it on. And honestly, I think that's like the worst part about this, other than someone losing their life. I think it's very disappointing to see the people who pretended to care about Second Amendment rights and government tyranny and overstep. It's really awful seeing these people tweet out, "We win, we won." They're like keeping score of the deaths. It's even worse when they have like liberty in their username. Sorry for the bleak episode. There's nothing good to say about this. But what do you guys think? Let me know, even if you disagree. I'd love to talk about it, but I just hope everyone's safe out there. Hope everyone's safe. I hope even the agents are safe, the ones that aren't doing this stuff. I just hope everyone's safe.